I am so excited to dive into yet another epic Rebel Radio conversation. I've got my friend Sydney DeLucchi here. Welcome to the show, Sydney.
Thanks for having me, Cindy. I'm really excited to be here today.
Oh, I love it. So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do.
So, I am a mom of an almost 2-year-old, and I am an entrepreneur. I started out in the social media management space, and I now own an agency as well as I call myself a creative business coach because I started in the social media management. I'm a very creative content creator. That's redundant, but I'm a content creator and I'm very creative with that.
Mhm.
And it just kind of morphed into this coaching aspect where my clients that were doing social media, like the social media was great. We were getting a lot of engagement. But then when the ideal client was moving over to the next step of the funnel, they were getting distracted. There weren't the things in the back end that they needed. So we then went backwards and then we went forwards, and then that bridge, which is funny, then came into play.
I love
So
that.
I help entrepreneurs find the confidence in their content and their business and all of their strategies so that they can see conversion from it.
Oh, I love that so much. And it kind of ties into the numerology that we talked
Yeah,
about before we went live here. So before we went live, I shared a little bit of your numerology, and I'm curious what your biggest takeaway was from that.
that I'm the connector.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I'm the
So
bridge.
that you do the work that you do. I mean, social media itself is kind of here, there, and everywhere, right?
Yeah, and the fact that you said that I can't really be employed, I have to be an entrepreneur, like, it
Mhm.
kind of, like, called me out a little bit, and I was like, "Ah, that's kind of mean," but, like, not at the same time, like, it totally makes sense 'cause I've co-owned, I've worked for, and now I work for myself, and
Mhm.
that's the best. Like, I get to be creative director, I get to call the shots, but also, like, I lean on my team as well to
Mhm.
help me make the decisions because it affects all of us in the long run, and I want them to shine as well as me. So there's my connector, my bridge again.
Right? I love that. I've got a lot of 5 energy clients, and oftentimes the 5s that are most successful have a team to lean on because the 5 is all about freedom and wants to be over here being creative and connecting and doing the things. They need that structure of that team in place to help support for sure. Yeah.
I don't know what I would do without my team because, like, in my numerology that you shared with me, I'm the hummingbird.
Yeah.
So, like, if I don't have somebody managing my brain for me, I'm just like, "Oh, yay, let's do this. Oh, let's go play in Canva or let's do content creation." And 4 hours later, like the SpongeBob screen, I'm sure you're familiar with. 4 hours later, I'm still at the computer and I'm like, "Oh, oops." But I got all that stuff done.
Right? Yeah. I love that. I love that so much. So, who are you most motivated to serve in your work?
Oh, this is a good question because I've been working with a copywriter lately, and she's been helping me get my words out there. And she's like, you have this servant's heart. Like, you love to help everybody at any stage of their entrepreneur journey, but you really have that spot for those new entrepreneur people because you've been there. So I have to agree with her there. Like, I really love helping that entrepreneur that's like scared to make the jump from working for somebody else into working for themselves because I was there. Like, March of this year, I lost my agency job because of the pandemic. And wow, like, moving into that it's just me space was
Mhm.
hard. So I know that if I could have, I would have and should have had somebody in my corner to help me with that, like outside of my family, like someone that's like a business coach or something. So I wanted to be that helper. I'm gonna
Mhm.
laugh every time it ties back into the numerology. I wanted to be that helper to kind of help them move into that space that they were aspiring to be, because being able to work from home, like my daughter's napping in the other room right now, like, and I'm
Mhm.
here for that. So it's just amazing. So those are the
And
people
what
that
freedom
hold
does that give you, right? Love that.
everything, all of it.
To be at home with your daughter and not have to go to work, not no daycare, none of that. I love
Well,
that.
she does go to school in the morning because mama needs some time, but
Right.
and she needs time with her friends, and that's so
Yeah,
important.
absolutely, absolutely. So what does self-mastery mean to you? I feel like this is a conversation. I mean, I ask this question on every episode because everybody has a different definition. So what does it mean to you?
Ooh, so I love this question because it kind of ties into what I've named my agency. So self-mastery to me is being unapologetically you and building something that is wildly you, which is what we've called my podcast. Like it is just it's branded everywhere. And once you can step into that role and that light, everything else falls into place because you get to show up. You can drop the F-bomb on a freaking Rebel Radio episode and not care because that is you. Like that, like it gives me goosebumps because I want to help people step into that space where they feel comfortable doing that. Because the moment that clicks, that self-mastery, that wildly you aspect, your people that are around you, they feel that energy. And I'm sure you can speak to this as well. They feel that energy and your confidence in it, and they see the passion that you have, and they are just absolutely magnetized to you. And they might not even know why. And it's just that confidence level that is self-mastery, I feel.
I love that so much. And really that is the core concept of Rebel Radio. Is everybody told me that you needed to plan out a podcast for a year. You needed to have strategy. You needed to have an editor in place. I was like, wow, that seems like a lot of work. And the rebel in me went, why can't I just record them live and not edit them and just upload them as is? Who the fuck cares?
Exactly.
And that's what we do. So we know at Rebel Radio, car alarms go off, dogs bark, F-bombs get dropped, and we don't care. What you say goes live to the podcast. And that's what I love so much about it, because it's allowing myself and my guests to be unapologetically them.
Heck yeah. And it's probably way more sustainable for your life and your business too.
Right? It takes me 15 minutes to prep my podcast because I don't do editing.
And that's a big thing that I talk about with my clients too, is that like, hey, like consistency for Cindy might be different than it is for you. So how do you want to show up? Let's figure that out. And then let's map it out and let's make what you're doing match up with what you want to do.
Exactly. Exactly. So good. So good. So how has this idea of self-mastery supported you as an entrepreneur as you've grown your agency?
Ooh, this is really good. It has allowed me to build whatever the hell I wanted to build.
Yeah.
And so my personal journey with the self-mastery building my agency was that I absolutely love creating content for clients. I don't have time to create content for clients because I have an almost 2-year-old. I am in the car a lot during the day. She does baby dance class, which is great. But am I really able to sit down uninterrupted and be head down with that client's content? No, I can't do that. But I can help with other factors that lead into that creativeness. So that's why my stuff split off. And I super love being in that one-to-one space with people, helping them find that confidence that they need. So I opened my schedule up for more of that because that was more sustainable for me. And so then my entrepreneur ideas and journey just kind of blossomed from there. So I stepped into the self-mastery, acknowledging what I liked, what I didn't like, the stuff that I could outsource that I did like, and then just morphing it into what I wanted it to be.
I love it. Love it so much. So another question that we love here at Rebel Radio is the question around wealth. Those of you who know me, I am passionate about the redistribution of wealth on the planet, and I believe that comes through the hands of entrepreneurs. But wealth is a very triggering word, and it's a word that we're not really quite sure what the definition is. So I'm curious what it means to you.
Wealth means, I'm thinking of like different ways that I could answer it, and I don't like any of the things that I've come up with yet.
Oh, fun.
I was going to say happiness, but I don't tie happiness to money necessarily. I tie happiness to the ability to do what I want when I want to.
Right.
So
And
maybe freedom. Do what?
I said, isn't that being wealthy? To be able to do what you want when you want?
That's privilege, I feel like. Maybe. But yes. But maybe wealth could be freedom, or this is a really good question. And it's one that I'm going to continue to think about.
I hope you do. I hope you do. That's why
I'm going to be like brushing my teeth and it's like Cindy's in my head. Like, what is wealth?
You're welcome. This is how I roll. And I love asking this question because I want the world to start questioning it. What does it mean to you? Right. And I think that's really important for us to explore these things and really dig deep, like, because wealth means something different for everybody. And I think that's important. It's an important question to ask yourself. So you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
I love that.
Sorry, y'all that are watching or listening, that I didn't have the answer really.
Maybe our audience doesn't have an answer either, for permission to not know. And that's okay. It's okay if you don't have all the answers. None of us have the answers.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I was in a Clubhouse room last night and I openly admitted that I didn't know the answer to something, and I got a few Instagram DMs and they were like, "Thank you so much for saying you didn't know. You have no idea how many people just pull something out of their ass and like give a poor answer to somebody, and then that ruins things for that person." I'm like, I'm not like, I'm okay with not knowing everything.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point to bring up, is because we, as entrepreneurs, especially those of us who are really visible and we're sharing information, we're teaching, we kind of get this, people have this idea about us that we're experts, so we should know everything. I don't know shit. All I am is a mirror for what's going on in your own experience, and I can reflect that back to you. Yes, I can retrieve information from the quantum field. Yes, I can look things up. Yes, I do have a wealth of knowledge, but I don't know everything, and I'm not here to ever say that. And I will be the first one to tell you, I don't have the answers either.
Yes. I'm reading a book and it's called Laser Focus Coaching. And the biggest thing that I've learned from it so far, granted, I haven't had time to read this week, which is really sad to me, but the biggest thing that I've learned so far is that there is so much power in asking questions back to people so that they make their own decision themselves.
Yeah. It's a concept that I've been working with for quite some time now, is that you are your own guru, right? We're always looking for somebody outside of ourselves. Tell me what to do. Tell me what I should do. You know what's right for you. You just need somebody to reflect that back to you. And that's the coaching, that perspective that I take, that most of the people that I work with take. So I love that you bring that up. I think that's really important. Yeah, so good.
Yay.
So what is, here we go with the one thing questions that everybody loves, because I make you answer just one thing. Okay. you can have more than one. It's okay. It's all good. Full permission to love 12 million things. It's fine. What is one truth that you wish every entrepreneur knew?
Oh, that they can do it.
Yeah.
Boom. One. I don't have 75. I just have one.
Yes. If you can do it, or if I can do it, you can do it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That was good. She didn't even have to think about that. That was awesome.
I was centered and I was ready. I was just
boom. Well, here comes another one. Are you ready?
Maybe. Got it. Let's go.
Centered, grounded. Okay. What is one thing that you've discovered about yourself on your journey that has helped you to grow?
Oh, it's helped me to grow. So this is like a little piece, but I am so much better speaking than I am typing. Like hands down. So if you want my real brain, you got to speak to me instead of asking me to type it out. And it's interesting because I've been working with my team over like how to best communicate, and we started in Slack. And I was like trying to type stuff out, and I'm like driving in the car, and don't text and drive, you guys. But I was like, stoplight, and then I'd forget that I was typing it, and then they wouldn't get an update, and I'm like, so we moved over to a different platform where I could send voice memos, and I paid for like the upgrade so they could transcribe it, because I know the way that I have to communicate with them might not be a good thing for them. So like I now voice to text to them, right? Or voice it to them, and it's just so much better. So
see, and I love that, because that's another level of self-awareness of how you best show up and how you operate, which brings it back to self-mastery, right? We all think, well, there's these specific tools and there's a certain way we need to do. That's bullshit. Do it the way you want to.
Yep.
Like I'm the same way. And I remember I used to have such resistance to sending voice message, even through Facebook Messenger. And when I embraced that, I was like, oh, damn, this is so easy. And then my thumbs don't get tired from texting all the time anymore either, right?
And then you don't have to worry about like your phone changing words on you. And you're like, that's not what I meant.
So here we go. My phone. So I teach self-mastery, right? My phone autocorrects to self-masturbation almost every time. So I have to be really careful when I'm messaging clients, or when I'm messaging potential clients, especially because they're like, hey, what do you do? I teach self-masturbation. No, I don't. It's not a thing that I do.
Okay, I have to know, has this ever slipped through before? And what
Not
was the
once.
conversation like after?
It has never gone through, thank God. I can't
Here's
believe
a
I
tip
just
for
did
you. Record your face saying, I am a specialist in this, and then just send that to them when they ask you a question.
Right? Oh my gosh.
That way
Yeah.
it's batched and it's ready to go, and you don't have to worry about that little slip up.
Yeah. Just waiting for that day when that slips through. It's not going to happen.
So crazy.
So if you could share anything with our audience about what's going on in current events, what would you share?
Oh, that women can do anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I love that.
And don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't. Like, if we've learned anything from this past year, that's it. And to be kind to people.
Right. I mean, women especially, if you can give birth, you can fucking do anything.
Yeah.
I've never given birth, but I'm fairly aware of the amount of pain that's involved. If you can do that, you can do anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of that. Wrap it up, put a bow on it,
Right?
send it out to everybody.
You can face all your fears. You can face the deepest pain. You can face trauma to your body. You can face all of it. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. Okay.
We have a comment over here. Jeanette says, don't prostate. I mean, procrastinate.
Oh, the autocorrect is real. Oh my gosh. Right? So funny. Oh my gosh. I have loved this episode so much. Thank you for having some laughs with me. That we don't have to take this entrepreneurial journey seriously at all. I mean, why bother doing it if it's not fun? I was sharing to you just before we started this episode is that I don't have a single thing in my calendar that I don't love. And that's been created and designed intentionally so that every morning I wake up and I'm like, I get to do this and this and this and this. And I'm so excited, right? And that's how we can create our worlds. I just, so good. So thank you for coming on to Rebel Radio, having some fun with us. And as always, we end the episode with one last question. What do you dream of for the world?
Oh, first off, thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Second, what I dream of for the world. This is so like miscongeniality, but honestly, peace. Like, I hope that we can find peace and kindness, and we can all just accept each other for their wildly you-ness of each other and just be happy.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And we can have it. We can have
I'll
it.
take my crown now. Thanks.
Yeah. So good. Thank you so much for being on the show, Sydney.
Thanks for having me, Cindy. This was